Time.
Go time indeed. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Codex Station's Comic Character of the Week. We take that one character. Well, come on, you know the deal with this. Must read stories, top covers, badass moments, the whole 9 yards. I'm your host tonight, Sal the Slab Guy, coming to you from the Slavatorium, where it's a cool, crisp 39 degrees. Also joining me are my usual suspects, Dan and Van Kelly, Uncle Gary, the Ric Flair of comics, and of course, our master and commander, J-Dub.
Where it's currently -5.
-5.
We,
How you guys
we,
doing?
we are cold, but not as cold as he is. Dang
Yeah,
it.
no.
Yeah,
We were-
the other day was -35.
Wow.
My
Yeah,
wife
I walked
just got
outside,
back.
my nose hairs instantly froze.
Now, is that with wind chill or without wind chill?
That was wind chill. Without wind chill, it was -20.
Wow.
Uh-oh,
Come
here
on,
comes
Richard, you're
trouble.
killing me.
Here comes
What's up,
trouble.
Chris?
Chris,
My wife just got
Chris.
back from a work trip to Indianapolis. She said it was 1 degree.
God.
man.
Jeez.
When I said I wanted double digits, I meant like that way.
not the other way.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Wrong way.
That's funny.
Wrong way.
Well, tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's a kind of a special character night because my brother actually picked out this character for us to review because it is his birthday today. So we can give Vince a wish a happy birthday to Vince. I'm going to kick off this one thing really quick here. That's right. He is 60.
He's old too, like
Yep,
me.
he's old school. He's old school as well. But he watches the show. He doesn't really participate in the chat, but he watches the show. He watches our Comics Unleashed as well. And I asked him. I said, "What character do you want me to do a review on? Because it's my turn to pick." And he goes, his first choice I think was Doctor Doom. I'm like, "Nope, done. Doctor Doom's done." I said we could do a revisit when this movie comes out. And he's like, okay. He goes, how about Kang? And I'm like, Kang it is. Kang it is.
Well,
So, ladies
Oh,
and
did we
gentlemen,
tell
will be
everybody
covering
to
Kang.
pick for next week?
What's that?
Did we tell everyone to pick for next week yet? I mean, our crew,
No. We usually tell at the end of the show, but you want to tell them now? Go
our
right
team.
ahead. Go
our
ahead.
team, our
Yeah.
team.
Yeah. Actually,
Oh.
actually, Uncle Gary does not know, but Dan knows.
Oh, Dan knows. I'm Gary. Next week's Dark Side.
Next week is Darkseid.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we're doing a whole episode on John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
There you go.
I
I
already,
love- listen,
I already,
I'm a big fan of the Beaver.
I already
Who
sent
is it?
I already sent him my covers for that one too.
Yeah, as soon as I told him Darkseid, like a minute later, I get 3 covers. And I'm
It
like,
wasn't a minute. It was like 2 hours.
it was a minute. Come on.
Who picked
Let's
Darkseid?
check the videotape on that. The Slab Brother. That's right.
Slab brother.
Yep.
I mean, if you want, Sal, I also have already picked out my covers for Vision and Poison Ivy. I could just inundate you with covers now.
You could, but please hold off on that.
Yeah, but then he has to scroll, and it's a whole thing.
I don't like scrolling. That's too much,
The Fantastic Four doesn't like scrolling either.
That's right.
Got a point.
All right. Are you guys, let's actually do some business before we kick off the show, right?
Business.
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 Yes, we got to do
You're
some
referring
business
to
here.
Alien
Business.
Cruisers, Chris. I also love that movie.
Yep,
How do you feel?
absolutely. All right. Once again, folks, you can always find me on YouTube under Sal's Comic Corner or under Instagram as SlabGuy77. Dan, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Dan Kelly Art. I actually just posted something today. Oh, I posted the 3 slabs today that I just sent to Hit Parade that they're going to put in their mystery boxes. So
nice.
you can check those out. And but I also post stuff like this, for the since we're doing Kang tonight. I pulled this out that I had done when the last Ant-Man movie came out, and I tell you, yes, it is a pain in the butt to draw something that tiny. There you go.
Looks awesome, though.
Dan
All
Kelly
right.
Art right there.
There you go.
That's Dan Kelly Art. You can get
There you
Dan
go.
Kelly to make you a pretty
Listen to
pretty
Richard.
picture
Yeah,
like
thank you, Richard.
that. Richard's got a whole Dan Kelly collection going. Dan Kelly.
It does.
Dan
It
Kelly
does.
Art. He is CG Sir bona fide,
What's up, Adam?
certified,
Certified.
with a Yeller label.
Yella.
Yeller.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeller.
All right, Dan, do you want to introduce
Old
that guy
Yeller.
next to you?
and hopefully they don't do to me what they did to him.
Yeah, that's true. Do you want to introduce that guy next to you?
All right. I mean, I don't think he needs any introduction.
Well,
Yeah, he's we all know, we love him. He's always repping the Legion, as he knows. And
Yes. There it
He
is.
keeps it now for Sunny purposes.
Did you see Sonny gave the Legion book I gave them a 10 out of 10? A 10
Yep.
out of 10. I
Yeah.
was quite
10 out of
stunned.
10.
I was stunned that Sonny gave it a 10 out of 10.
I was
Whenever
Sunny
we
can
do-
read that many words.
whenever you do another batch of Kodak shirts, that should be. I know you talked about everyone getting their own shirt. That should be Sonny's. It should just be like, it should just be like the outline of him going like this and be like
Looking like Han Solo.
10 out of 10.
What'd you say?
Looking like Han Solo. And
Yeah, like carbonite, and then just say
Yeah, frozen carbonite. Yep.
All right. Back to business. The best business is head over to, that's a commander's hat. Head over
Oh,
to the
what?
commander.
That's not right. The hat.
They're still there. Comic Logic, Loudoun County, Virginia's only comic book store. Please come in and see us. We would love to make your acquaintance. See me, Rob Kalin, Mighty Mike Harbor. Catch us every Wednesdays getting our new books, getting that 4-color ink put into the bloodstream. Big muscles, reading comics, make you strong. Might want to do a few push-ups too. So please come see that. We also are friends of this station. There's the Comic Character of the Day site, which Kevin, the Archduke Kevy, founded, but now Sal and Dan are running that thing.
Mostly
And,
Dan.
Mostly Dan. Well,
Yeah.
so
I help him
Dan-
out.
You
the
help him
content
out,
kind of
Dan?
went away, if you ask me. I mean, it used to be great in grade A.
Yeah.
Well, Dan is helming the ship through smooth waters, I hope. But because of him, it's smooth waters. So I'm still trying to post my cover of the day for today. I'm a little tardy, but that's funny. I don't feel tardy.
I don't feel tardy.
I don't feel tardy. Yeah, great Van Halen video.
Yep.
Oh, hot for teacher. Who isn't? All right. So that being said, check out that site. See his random panels of the day are worth the price of admission. You know, just for that.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely.
Don't let Sunny steal them.
Yeah. Well, it's okay if Sonny steals them after a while. You know.
Oh, what the panel of the day? That's
Yeah.
like of them.
Yeah. Well, Sonny's Sonny's little helper.
Hey, that's fine.
Yep.
If he sees one that particularly tickles his fancies, more than
Well,
Gives him a 10 out of 10 in his mind.
Gives him a 10 out of 10 in his shorts. Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. So that being said, let's talk about somebody who built this city on rock and roll, or built this station on solid granite from the ground up. The master builder up there, brick by brick by brick. The one, the only J-Dub.
Thank you, Uncle Gary. I always love the intros. I feel like we've been missing out on those. But yeah, you guys can catch us over at thekodakstation.com. Get some merch, meet the team, let us know what you don't like, and so much more. And you can also find the
The socials?
those. Yeah.
Why were you doing that? That's kind of filthy.
Because I was dripping.
Because you were dripping? Well, we are dripping, positively dripping with the socials. And we would like nothing better than to give them to you, baby.
Yikes. Yikes, ladies and gentlemen. Yikes. That's
It's like Comics Unleashed on a Thursday.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's not even the weekend yet, but we're already doing it.
Yeah,
All right.
Unfortunately. Well, real fast, I do got one little piece of business I do want to talk about.
Yes.
Ladies and gents, again, we'll talk about it in the middle of the day show, too. We are doing our giveaway. The whole run of Secret Invasion. Now, all you have to do, if you haven't already in chat, put hashtag giveaway. We will enter you in. I've got my little notey notebook right here with all the names that have been done so far. And if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, take a screenshot, send to our socials, or just, send it to the comments down below. So that way we can see it and enter you in. And also, if you're a member, for that $1 a month, you guys are automatically entered. So, you guys got your ways to win.
Nice.
Yes. Yes, indeed. All right. Thank you for that, J-Dub. Thank you for that, indeed. All right.
Yes.
So are we ready to go ahead and kick off this show then? And get the party started, as they say.
So light this candle.
I'm so nervous.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
My
We'll see you,
multiverse
folks.
is tingling.
Oh God.
Oh my.
Your Kang is tingling. What? Folks, we'll see you in about a minute.
My blue Kang is tingling.
Oh God. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Here, this is the Codex Station. This is Comic Character of the Week. We're taking one character, giving it all the info that you need to know, and tonight's character is Kang. I am your host tonight, Stylist Lab Guy. Down below is Dan the Man Kelly. Right over there is the Ric Flair of comics, Uncle Gary, and right there is our master builder himself, J Dub. All right, folks, let's go ahead and dive in. Dan, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with the intro for him?
This is going to take a half an hour with this guy's.
Sit back and relax.
Dan, I'm sorry you had to go through.
Please tell me you tried to digest this a little bit.
I condensed it down. Wikipedia helped to narrow it in scope. There are things that are just kind of skipped over too. So his first appearance was, I mean, it depends on what you want to say. Is that Fantastic Four 16 from October 1963, where he appeared as Rama Tut, who it was later revealed was actually Kang, or Avengers 18 from September 1964 as Kang the Conqueror. Either way, he was created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby because they created everyone in Marvel then.
Yeah, that's true.
So Kang, and his real name was actually not really, not revealed until like the early 90s in an issue of What If. So I thought that was interesting. So
was that episode What If We Knew Kang's real name?
So Nathaniel Richards is his real name. He's a descendant of Reed Richards and he hails from the 31st century, where in the future there is, it's a utopia, and
Chris, you're killing us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thanks for showing up, everybody. You did a great show.
Avengers 8, not 18. I misspoke. So yeah, he lives in the 31st century. He is bored because there is no war. There's no poverty. It's a utopia. So he studies history, gets fascinated with it. He finds one of Dr. Doom's time platforms, travels back to ancient Egypt, where he becomes the Pharaoh Rama Tut, and he tries to set himself up there. Ends up battling Apocalypse. He gets beaten by the Fantastic Four, and then he flees to the 20th century, where he meets Dr. Doom, who he believes to also be an ancestor of his. And then it's never really made clear if he is or isn't. And inspired by Doom, he creates a suit of his own armor, and calls himself the Scarlet Centurion, where he fights the Avengers. He gets beaten by the Avengers. He tries to go back to the 31st century, but he misses it like a dumbass and goes 1,000 years further into the future and finds that the Earth has been destroyed by years of conflict. The people that live there have this advanced technology that they don't even know how to use anymore. So he takes over. He conquers the world, conquers the galaxy, becomes Kang, and then sets his sights on other times. There are other identities that he has had, which we will jump into throughout the episode as it calls for it. As far as powers, he doesn't have powers, but he is a time traveler. He's a master strategist, an engineer, a history scholar, and the armor he wears gives him enhanced strength. It projects energy, holograms, force fields, and can control other technology.
Cool.
You dug his backstory granted, when you were a kid, Chris, his backstory was a lot less convoluted than it has become in the years since.
Yep. So self-confidence and the power of positive thinking. Yep.
I like
today.
That's a spin on it.
Poster taped inside, I will conquer today.
I will.
It's a kitten holding on for dear life.
Yep. Very good. All right. Thank you, Dan, for that. Appreciate that. So moving on to our next segment will be what works best for our character. But before we do, we got to give a quick shout out to my brother Vince, turning 60 today. He's the one that chose that character for us tonight. So happy birthday, Vince.
Happy birthday.
He's a bum because he's going on a nice cruise for his birthday, and I'm extremely jealous.
So let's see. We got 2 Italian brothers named Sal and Vince. Yeah, that's a stretch.
Yeah, way to live up to the stereotype.
Yeah.
What? What are you talking about?
What? What you talking about?
What you talking about?
Yeah, and he doesn't have a birthday cake. He just has a large Italian cold cut.
There you go. What's wrong with that?
I'll say, Vince, try not to pass out from all the breath you'll have to use to blow out all of 60 of those candles.
When you just have like a giant cannoli?
Giant cannoli. That's true. I would love a giant cannoli. Actually, that would be really good. To tell you the truth, I would take a giant cannoli over a cake any day of the week. And people like them. All right, Uncle Gary, kick us off first and tell us what works best for you.
Vinny and Sal. That's right. What works best, I think, is when he's doing the Pinky and the Brain thing.
Yeah.
Trying to take over the world. That's what he works. That's what he does best.
Yeah.
I mean, he is not a villain that suffers from thinking small. He's got grand ideas and a grand scheme. And I like that he's looking at the whole big planet-wide picture. And even, I guess, in the Marvel's version of the multiverse picture, because, he doesn't mind hanging out with a bunch of other Kangs and whittling them down.
Yeah.
So I just think he's great as a big picture villain that wants to take over the world. And I think he's the kind of villain that takes on a whole team. He doesn't take on one hero. He's got to take on a whole team, and you need a team like the Avengers to disconstruct his machinations for world dominance. So I just like him when he's a melon. He's just
melon.
He's a melon, melomaniacal. Is that the word I want to say?
Yes.
Villain that wants to take over the whole damn planet.
Yep. Okay. Very good. All right, J-Dub, what you got?
I like him as a melon.
Like,
no, I really think he works best as the multiversal traveler. Like Gary was saying, like he's not afraid to beat himself down. Like if he runs into other versions of himself, he's like, I'm smarter than this one. He's gonna die. Like plain and simple. It's great every time. And yeah, the way he thinks past and even takes the information from his past selves or his more relevant selves and uses that to garner future plans is just a paradox in itself. Like so yeah.
Yep, very true. Richard.
That's right. Thank you, Richard. Kang didn't mess with the X-Men, so if he wants to get his Beast fix, he's got to go for the Avengers.
Beast belongs in space. Hashtag.
All right. And how about you? What works best for you?
Yeah, I like it. Well, Gary said it's not just trying to take over the world, though. It's trying to take over he's interested in taking over the timeline.
Yeah.
He wants to take over the entire time period. So yeah, it's great that the time traveling and the way that he has plans within plans, and you'll think like, oh, okay, you beat him, and he'll go, no, I needed that to happen because of this, and then he'll go to the next thing and be like, oh shit, okay.
Yep.
Hang doodle.
But
it's also a character too that where something that I'll get into with a dislike is, all the stuff with the different aspects of them, and it can get convoluted. But that also is something that can help them too, because you can do whatever you want with the character, and you just be like, oh, it's a different version, or it's him trying this or him trying that, and so it gives you a lot of freedom. I feel like as a creator, a lot of freedom to do stuff with, and even having multiple ones of the same character, in the same storyline. And I love the stuff with him and Immortus, how he's destined to become Immortus, and he hates him with a fiery passion and does everything that he can to avoid that outcome, even though he knows like this is time, this is inevitable, and still does everything he can to fight against it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. I think the backstory works well with his power set. Yep. That is true, Richard. Very true.
I get that.
Yep.
Of
Also
all
true.
the time travel characters that are in comics, and there's Booster Gold and Wave Rider, Bishop, there's a lot of them. I think Kang is the one that best fully embraces exactly what you can do with time travel and paradoxes and all that, more so than any other character.
Yeah, and I think Kang, I'm going to say Kang was probably borrowed from Showcase 29. I mean, Brave and the Bold 29 that introduced the Weapons Master. He was a Justice League villain, and he was from the future, would have futuristic weapons and come at the League that way. So I think that was Marvel's, version of a character like that.
I mean, back then, Marvel and DC, anytime DC had a good character, Marvel's like, oh, let's do our version. And same thing when Marvel had a good character, DC's like, hey, that's pretty cool. Let's do something with that.
Absolutely. Creative borrowing.
Creative borrowing. Yep. That's what it was. All right. For me, you guys pretty much hit the nail right on the head for me. He's just got this passion for, taking over every timeline in every universe as possible. He wants to not just control one thing; he wants to control everything, and it's kind of good because then he gets to we get all different versions of good guys that he gets to torment and kill. There's one badass moment I have where he does kill off the Avengers in one fell swoop, which is pretty cool. But I'll save that for my badass moments. But yeah, he works best as that time traveling guy that just wants to take over everything. Not just a small bit, not a country or a part of the world. Every timeline in every universe, he wants it.
Everywhere and every when.
Yeah, that is so true. That is so true. All right, so let's go ahead and jump to our badass moments then. And Dan, why don't you kick us off for that?
All right. Well, I will start. Yeah, he is just a tad greedy.
He is greedy.
He's greedy. He's greedy.
Yes.
He's greedy.
All right, so I got my first one. It's from the Council of Kang's storyline from Avengers 267 to 269. Something that we kind of talked about earlier, where you can have all different Kangs in it. Well, this is one where Kang, I guess Kang Prime, has the Council of Kangs. It's him and two other Kangs that are going through the multiverse and killing all the other inferior Kangs. And then you find out the one that's in charge of the council, after he's done wiping all them out, is then going after the other two on the council, so that he can be the only one.
Right.
And it's just crazy that it's him killing all these different versions of himself. That I mean, who does that?
It's a lot of self-loathing, I think.
Yeah.
It's the Kang version of Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have what was the next one I got? Avengers Forever, which I know that we'll get into later. The Timekeeper's in it. So the story follows that Immortus is trying to kill Rick Jones, and they put together this team of Avengers from throughout different time periods to stop that, and they have to ally themselves with Kang because Kang hates Immortus, and and we'll, I said, keep getting into that. But he has the timekeepers that are kind of running all this. He kills them and then manages to split himself from Immortus, where, as I said, Immortus was like his destiny, and he hated him because Immortus was not the conqueror. Immortus was someone that just kind of tried to preserve the timeline and was tried to be, well, as peaceful as one of them could be. And Kang hated that, so he finally gets to separate himself from him. And I thought that was pretty bad. I said he finally got what he had been wanting all this time. Nothing wrong with wanting to be
hero boss. Isn't that the one where he's like the way they drew it? It's like he was like being torn apart inside. If I remember the imagery of that, he was like ripping himself out from himself.
There should be a what if instead of Rick Jones, he wants to kill Rick James.
Yeah, Rick James.
That would be super freaky. I think that would be
super freaky.
That'd be Pootie Kang.
His curse is foiled again, villainy. Yeah, he could go Kang versus the Scooby Gang. Yeah, then the last one I have is from Timeless #1, where it starts off with him in the. Did you have this one, Jamie?
I had all three. Night, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
I'll let you go last, Jamie.
Well, I'll leave it to Jamie to tell you about him and the woolly mammoth then. But I just, Gary always does the story time, but there was one little part here.
Give it, because I wasn't gonna go woolly mammoth on it.
Okay. Well, it starts off with him, in prehistoric past.
I've got a woolly mammoth if anybody's interested.
It's more woolly than mammoth.
Too long to come up with, Gary. This is too long of a wait. Sorry.
And he's got this tribe of basically like Neanderthals that worship him, and he goes and fights this woolly mammoth. He takes off the armor, and it's just him fighting this woolly mammoth with just like a spear, and manages to kill it and provide sustenance for all of this tribe. And he has this guy Petrov who was writing a biography on Dr. Doom that he pulls in. He's like, no, screw Doom. You need to do the biography on me.
Yeah.
And has him observing him.
But the best part about it is how he told him, like, yeah, why would you be doing it on Doom? Wouldn't you rather have somebody like me, superior?
Yeah, right.
just like knocking Doom down the entire time, like every peg.
Though he got to be who he is from Doom, though.
Yeah. Right.
Doom,
right.
So he borrowed from Doom to get there. So I guess there's a rivalry going.
So they're like frenemies.
But there's this one line, or this one part about halfway through the book when Petrov is kind of questioning Kang about, why he let all of these minions of his die. And he says, they trusted you. You could have saved them. They were human beings, Kang. And Kang just looks at him and goes, Petrov, who exactly do you think I am? And then you see the next panel where he's like lording over Petrov and he's about ready to fall. And he goes, who do you think you were traveling with? I had thought you a man of vision based on your writings. From your idolatry of Doom, misguided though it may be, I expected a man with the understanding that ethics and morality are constructs of the weak. I am Kang the Conqueror. The lives lost on Oracle Base are the barest fraction of the death tally upon my name. I have seen millions die in my name and millions more die cursing it. Do you think me understood, Petrov, a hero merely waiting for the opportunity to blossom? The ancient Greeks had the correct idea of heroes, those men and women who were better than those around them, demigods who strode the earth and took what they wanted, took for themselves the excellence they deserved. Excellence, Petrov, at any cost. That is my pursuit, my obsession. Nothing else matters to me. And that, like those couple panels right there, I think just encapsulate who Kang is as a character. Like he has his own kind of misguided sense of morality, but he does indeed see himself as
Chris. We're not posting that, but we're leaving that one out.
I can't put that one up, Chris.
And then I gotta see what he put up.
Chris, send that to me so I can see whatever they think is funny.
I'll take a picture of it and send it to you.
Oh, Chris.
I got an alternate I can throw in after everyone.
All right.
Someone doesn't take it.
Okay.
All
Was it all three?
That's it for me. That's
All right.
all three.
I guess I'll go next because you actually did take one of mine. Was the Council of Kangs where he was killing off all the other Kangs. Then he started looking at the two other Kangs, thinking to himself, "Well, I gotta take them out too." That's pretty badass for me.
What I do?
Yeah. Yep. And so my other badass moment is from the Avengers, the Terminatrix objective. This is where he doesn't want to get involved with a fight with Eliath. This is the time-consuming the monster that is being feared by every version of Kang type of thing, and he doesn't really find him. So he pulls the Avengers in, gives them a weapon, and they battle the monster to a stalemate. And then he's just like, "Okay, that's good." Yeah, he just read it, and then he just dismisses them, throws them back into their time frame, just like a simple gesture. It's like, okay, I'm done with your asses. Goodbye. So I like that. The other one was what I alluded to earlier. So when some of the stories that have one of the stories they have, Kang disguises himself as Iron Man. Iron Man shows up to the Avengers with a gift, technology or whatever it is. Turns out to be a bomb, explodes, kills all the Avengers, and then it's revealed that that Kang was imposing as Iron Man, right? And it was like right off the start of the story. So all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, Kang just killed off the Avengers!" Just like that. It was like that shock and all type situation. But as it turns out, that was an alternate universe where he was killing off the heroes to take over that timeline. So I thought that.
There goes all of my picks.
So that's my third and final one. Gary, go ahead. What you got?
I think Jamie should go before I take some.
All right.
I'm done. My alternative just got taken.
All of them got taken.
Chris, I just want to let you know right now, buddy. I love you. I don't care what you post. We will not be posting some things, especially that one. I enjoy being monetized.
We got to keep it PG, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to call out any names, Chris, but we got to keep it PG.
All right, I just sent that one to you, Gary.
Okay.
Gary, you can go.
Go ahead, Gary.
Yeah. Well, first let me see.
Okay, you got to check that message first.
No, I'll look at it after. So,
all right.
All right. So, it's just kind of basically generic ones in the Kang Dynasty. Kang sets out to conquer the world, and he does.
Yeah.
He does. He conquers the world. I mean, they always try to. In the Kang Dynasty, he did. It's done. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Right.
Now, does he hold it? Maybe, maybe not. You have to read it. But he conquered the world. I mean, there you go. There you go. That doesn't usually happen, but Kang accomplished it. Beat all the heroes down and conquered the damn world.
Chris, you could throw it in the chat anytime. There's just some we won't be able to post, buddy.
I
love you, brother.
Oh yeah, it's fine to put it in the chat. Just don't get mad if we don't put it up on the screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't care if it's in the chat. But
the chat's fine.
And Chris, keep the entertainment coming, buddy.
Yeah.
They go wild.
Keep the chat alive. How about that? Do that for us.
They go wild in the chat, but telling you to go wild, I think, would be dangerous.
Yep. The other one was we had talked about that Kang is always willing to kill other versions of himself. He's got no problem doing that. I think that's pretty badass. Like I said, I think there's a bit of self-loathing in there, but yeah, he's going to kill himself. And then one that was a specific quote. Kang was talking. The other thing about Kang is Kang talks a lot of shit. He talks a lot of trash.
He's a monologuer.
Yeah, he's a monologuer, and he will be just as acerbic as he needs to be, and he will whittle people down. Not a problem for Kang. So he was talking to Emin, who was one of the Apocalypse twins after Kang, declared victory, and he said, and he tells him, "Did you think that I hadn't foreseen your treachery? You have served the only purpose you were ever good for. You have served Kang. that is just so he beats him. He thought he was going to trick Kang. Kang saw through that, and then now that is good. That is very good. Yeah. I like that. I like that. You can put that in your pocket, Chris. Very good. I thought
Kang the manager.
Yeah, so I just saw that, so I love the fact that Kang talks a lot of trash, and you served the only thing you were ever good for. You served Kang.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Very good.
Now go ahead and read what
he said earlier.
Yeah, go ahead, Davey. Do you want to at least repeat what we covered? Or do we just want to skip that thing?
How about this? I'll do this one because I thought this was going to be covered. Is in what was it? Issue 8 of the Avengers when Kang just annihilates all of them with ease.
Yeah.
I've not heard about the old Model T before. That's Henry Ford would be proud of you, Chris. I like that.
One thing I like about Kang too is you see him a lot where he's in his like floating chair and he's just kind of kicked back like, yeah, I'm here to conquer all of you. And he's just kind of late.
Why did you just do what I was doing?
What?
I've been sitting like this the whole time, and then you're like, I like when he's like this.
Yeah, but he's just kind of laid back, got his legs kind of kicked up, and and it's just like, yeah, I'm here to conquer and murder all of you.
He might just be the most arrogant villain there is.
Yep, he's like one stage above Dr.
Too.
Doom. He's like one stage above Dr. Doom for arrogance.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's even got Dr. Doom out arroganted.
Out-arroganted?
Out-arroganted.
Big Daddy Kang.
Big Daddy Kang.
All right. So let's go ahead. Let's jump to our
name.
Yep. Let's jump to our next segment, which is critiques and stuff that we don't like about him. I'll go first because I really don't have much. I don't know what I don't like about it. Maybe the time travel thing is too much, but I kind of enjoyed it because I found it interesting enough to keep me, attached to the character, you might say. Sometimes when you get to too much of the time traveling thing, you gotta go, oh, again with the that time traveling thing. But I don't know. I don't know if I like the time traveling thing, but probably to a certain point. So I'll just keep it at that for right now. But that's really the only thing I don't like about him. What about you, Dan?
I kind of touched on it earlier that it's his backstory is so convoluted, and while it does give writers the freedom to kind of do a lot of different stuff with him, if you're really trying to keep track of him, it's hard to do. You got Nathaniel Richards, and then Rama Tut, and then Scarlet Centurion, and Kang, and Immortus, and and then he decides they're like, hey, let's make him create this Iron Lad character and have him form the Young Avengers, and it's hard to keep track of of all of these different iterations of them, but it also works into helping what you can do with the character. So I can't complain too much, but I really hate what they did with him in the MCU too.
He had his own bingo card with all his different identities.
Yeah, and not just that they because of the actor mess up and they're cutting him because that's separate, but how they handled him, where they built him up to be this huge, big badass, and then they have him as the villain in Ant-Man, and he promptly gets killed. And like the Council of Kangs at the end of it, we're talking about how he was like the most badass of all of them. Like, so he's the most. I like Ant-Man as much as the next guy, but you're talking being this guy that's like this big badass conqueror, and he gets beat by Ant-Man by himself. Like, that kind of takes away, the aura of the character. And then at that point, he was still supposed to be built up to be like the next big bad, to replace Thanos in the MCU. And you have him get that easily.
Another Chris comment. Oh my God.
Oh man, hold on.
I'm done. I quit. I quit. It wasn't that one.
It wasn't
No,
throwing there.
Okay, that was pretty good. I think Kang.
Richard Bixville is just. Yep.
Well,
He was a bit of Coke Cruise.
mm.
All about to shoot blue lightning. What's the matter with blue lightning? I had it in the intro. It was perfect.
Blue lightning.
Yeah.
Beating up your girlfriend.
Because I thought he was really good in the role, but
I don't think Disney wrote him correctly, to tell you the truth.
Oh, we're showing it?
Kangasaurus. Oh, that's great. That is funny.
that's like right at the line of what
That's very Chris.
That's
That
very
what
yep,
we can put up.
line.
Oh.
But yeah, like he was cool what they did with him with the Victor Timely stuff in the Loki series. And
Right.
they just build him up like this guy is such so badass, and then Ant-Man beat him, and that's that. Like,
Yep.
all right, so how am I supposed to take this guy as a serious threat against all of the Avengers? If the guy that talks, as he said in it, like you talk to ants, and then beats him.
Yep. Well, he did confuse him for Thor at first too.
Oh yeah.
All right, Jamie, why don't you go next and tell us what you don't like?
So, for me, it's what year did that Timeless #1 come out? That was 2022, right? Or 2023.
Which one?
The Timeless.
I want to say 21.
Timeless, yeah, it was 2022. No.
Let me look it up.
Okay, so it was around in 2020. Let's just go there. For me, since then, they've got Kang right.
21,
but the Conqueror's gone away.
22, 23, and then
it was 22 because 23 was the Moon Knight.
No, that was 24.
That was 24.
22 and 23 were Kang, and then 24 was the Luke Cage Moon Knight one.
Yeah. Well, every iteration he's part of now, whether it was that series in Venom that he had a short stint in, the Avengers he had a short stint in. Anytime he's just inserted himself into a story arc, he has not conquered anything except for, I don't know, dialogue. Like, can we get him back to what he was at one point? Like, he's not even fighting himself anymore. Like, it's sad. Like, we've been talking about this character, and I'm realizing more and more he has not conquered a thing since I've started reading them.
Okay, fair point.
And I think that's a criticism of a lot of different villains is like they build them up to be these badasses, but they all get beaten all the time.
Yeah,
because we want our heroes to win.
Yeah, but like my thing was everybody in the team. Dr. Doom's the greatest villain ever. Dr. Doom. I'm like, okay, cool. I forgot what it was. Right after, I'm like, why is he so great? All he's done is complain the entire issue. Like, where's this greatness? And everyone's like, oh, you got to read this series from Fantastic Four and this. I'm like, I'm trying to get something new and go with what you guys are saying, so I can kind of be like that alternative, opinion. And I got nothing. So,
I'll throw up that comment. Throw up that comment from Chris. This is a good one.
That's very true.
Yep, Richard just pops in it anywhere, any timeline, any story arc. Hey, I'm here. I just want to talk to you guys. I don't want to conquer anything. I just want to talk to you guys.
He's lonely.
Oh, he gets lonely. Uncle Gary, what don't you like about him?
When he's rapey.
Yeah.
For everyone that's read Avengers 200, you know exactly what the hell I'm talking about.
Yep.
Well, that wasn't Kang though. That was
the Mortis.
Well, it was Marcus.
Which is Kang.
Who's Kang? So, I mean, if I'm following the Marvel hierarchy of who he is, it's all the same. It's one of his aspects. And so if one of his aspects is rapey, I'm going to hold that against him. And I'm going to hold that against those Marvel writers that wrote that horrible issue.
Yep.
But
I don't think that was Kang, though. I think that was written to be his son.
He was impregnating him. It was a Mortis impregnating Miss Marvel to give birth to himself. And calling himself Marcus. That's the way I interpret it. Now, it's been many years since I've read it. Maybe you're right. Reading it once was all I needed.
You're like, we're never going back to this again.
Yeah.
Chris Claremont wrote an apology, which was Avengers Annual 10.
Right.
Yeah.
That's his apology for it because it was asinine. But the way I understood it was Immortus, in the guise of Marcus, seducing her to have a child who was himself. It's just really weird, really stupid, and
If I remember right, I thought it was Immortus, and a woman that he had found in the timeline that he impregnated her. She had the kid who was Marcus, but they had to stay in essentially limbo, and he ended up sending her back to her original timeline, but Marcus had to stay in limbo and grow up there, and eventually he got bored and was like, all right, I need to get out of here. And that's when he went to and did what he did with Carol.
So Marcus is Kang's son.
Yes.
Okay. Here's what I don't like about Kang. He's got a son that's a rapist. How about that?
Either way, we're throwing in that part.
Yeah.
That's essential.
Because they deal with that again in the Kang Dynasty storyline.
All right.
Kang's son is a rapist, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very good.
And I'll stand by that.
That's a good way to stand by. All right.
Again, that whole thing just goes to show like how convoluted everything is with the character.
Yeah, I thought that was Immortus himself, but
you're right, Chris. But it was not a good,
again,
especially
I read that once and never needed to read it again. So that's on me.
I just remember it because me and Sonny did the review of Avengers 10 on the podcast 2 weeks ago, and reading that, I was like, well, I got to go back and read 200 to give context to that.
Yeah. All right. Before we jump into the next segment, JW, you got some giveaway stuff we want to talk about.
Yes. If you guys have been keeping up on the shows, and if you haven't yet, we are doing our first giveaway this year, which is Secret Invasion, the complete set. Now, this is going to be open up until February 1st, and we'll be announcing the winner, and it'll be sent off directly after. All you have to do, chat, if you're new, put hashtag giveaway there in the chat. And if you are new to the channel, just hit subscribe, take a screenshot, put it in the comments, put it on one of our socials, let us know. You're automatically entered. And if you join for the membership, which is only $1 a month, you're automatically entered in for all of our giveaways.
Just one.
So make sure to do it. Get some comic goodness.
Like Kang, there can only be one.
There you go. That is so true. All right, then. Let's jump into our... What's that?
I said, isn't that the Highlander?
Yeah, that's the Highlander.
It is. We're adapting it.
But that's how Kang feels.
That's why I said the whole Council of Kangs thing was like the Highlander. There can only be one.
Gotcha, Chris.
All right, so let's jump to top covers. And Jamie, would you want to go first with top covers?
I would love to.
All right, then. You are up.
All right. So first one on the left is Avengers Forever. This is number 9. I love this cover because it reminds me of like the Mount Rushmore of villains, and Kang's just standing on top of all of them. Like, yep, I'm it.
Yep.
I'm going to destroy all of this right now, but this is it for me.
Yeah.
Next up in the middle, we got Avengers 267, and I just love how Kang is front and center of this. Everyone's coming to attack him, and he's still in like full Kang rage mode. I love the purple and green. Gotta admit.
Yep.
Lastly, I Precious likes him, but I can't stand him. But I thought this was hilarious. The Scotty Young variant of Kang the Conqueror, because of the fact that I literally just told everybody that he hasn't conquered anything in such a long time. He has a flag like what's the Martian from Looney Tunes?
Marvin the Martian.
Marvin the Martian. Sitting there like, oh, I'm going to take over Earth. No, you didn't conquer anything, but right there, he's got a flag that says conquered. Just smiling. So
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. All right, let's see. Dan, you want to go next?
Yeah.
All right, there you are.
All right, so all the way on the left, Avengers 49 or Legacy number 465. I just love the look that he's got on his face. And the sword that he's holding is actually his base in that storylines from the Kang Dynasty, Damocles base, and he's just shoving it through the earth like that. I just thought that's just badass. And then Avengers 2, it's, I don't know, volume 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1. I don't remember which one.
That's volume 7.
But it's I like how it's got all of the different iterations of Kang. You've got Ramatut, you've got Iron Lad, Scarlet Centurion, Immortus, Kang, and then you got the clocks just kind of floating in the background too. And of course, it's Alex Ross. So how can you go wrong with that?
Absolutely.
And then the last one, Kang the Conqueror, #1, where it's Kang and he's got the hourglass with the skulls in it, turning it on himself, and it deals with what he's doing in the story, where he goes and gets a younger version of himself and decides, all right, I'm going to train him up to be, to take my place. And that's kind of what the whole series is about.
All right, very cool. Very good. Let's see. Gary, I think I got you next. There you are.
All right, not much difference. So the one on the right, that's Avengers volume 7, #2, and that is by Alex Ross. And like Dan said, I love that it's got all the versions from Kang to Immortus all the way to Ramatut there. So, can't go wrong with Ross. That's absolutely right. The one in the middle is volume 3 of Avengers, number 49 by Kieran Dwyer. And that's, just what you think of Kang, lording over the world, is how I picture him. And then I've always loved this cover, Avengers 129, Ron Wilson, Al Milgrom. And I just think that's a classic Avengers cover, Kang looming large. And that was a pretty cool, storyline with Kang. And, he brings the Legion of the Unliving back, which is a bunch of Avengers related characters that have died, and they come back to battle the Avengers. That Kang resurrects them from the timeline. So I think I always enjoyed that ongoing storyline, but I just love that classic Avengers cover.
All right.
That was a good one.
Very cool. All right, now for my top covers. And there we go. All right, so the one on the left, Dan briefly alluded to this before. He's in his little floaty chair, legs kind of crossed, holding the gun. He's just like, yeah, I'm pretty badass. I did that. That's me. So this is Kang the Conqueror. I believe this is 1F by Joshua Gassara. And
yeah. I'm glad someone finally picked a Stormbreakers cover.
I got picked 2.
Oh, you did.
I
didn't see the one in there. My bad.
All right. No, it's all right. It's pretty cool. Yeah, but just because he's sitting there in that floaty chair acting like, nonchalant about the whole massive destruction that's below him, that's pretty badass to me. That middle one, Alex Ross. Can't go wrong with that. That's Avengers Forever, Volume 2. This is the D version, number 15D, for those playing at home. And the last one is, of course, from Kang the Conqueror as well. This is the 1H version, but this is by Patrick Gleason. And I love Patrick Gleason's covers. And I like this, how he's prominent in the front. The enemies are facing him, but he's like, 10 times the size of them. So he's just kind of towering over them type situation. He's got the glowing energy. It looks like he doesn't even care that the good guys are coming to attack him. He doesn't even care. So I like that. That's pretty badass for me.
Very good.
All right. So now we move on to essential readings. And Uncle Gary, you can go first for essential readings. There you are.
All right. There we go. Kang Dynasty, that's that Avengers. It's volume 3 of the Avengers. And Kurt Busiek, love this. And this is where he takes over the world. It's a longer storyline, but it's definitely worth it. And see how the Avengers fight back after they've been defeated, if there's a way to come back from it. So, the trade paperback, handles all that. You get all that information, or you can collect the individual issues. So you've got options there. The other one is the Kang War trade paperback. That's in the Marvel Epic collection, and it's number 8 and it collects more than just the Kang stuff. It has 129, which was the cover I just showed, and it goes all the way to 149 of Avengers and Giant Size 2 and 4. So not only do you get that first storyline where he resurrects the Legion of the Unliving, and he's got the whole Celestial Madonna thing going on where he wants to be the father of the I agree, Chris, where he wants to be the father of the Celestial Madonna. So, maybe he's got little rapey tendencies himself.
Oh yeah.
That he wants to father that child, and he wants to find out who the Madonna is so that he can knock her up. So so the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, Marcus. So so that is in here, and then plus you get a couple fun issues done by George Perez later in this volume where Kang is in the Old West, and you get Hawkeye who's trapped in the Old West with Two Gun Kid and Kid Colt and Ringo Kid, and just so you get fun Western action with Kang in the Old West, trying to take over. So it's kind of silly, it's kind of stupid, but it's another fun Kang story. And like I said, you get the Western heroes too. And then the last one I'm sure everybody's probably going to have is Avengers Forever 1 through 12, where it's Kang recruiting Avengers from different timelines and different teams to help him in his quest. So I'll let others talk more about it so I don't take it all.
All right. Let's see. Dan, I have you next. I think. There you are.
There I am. So yeah, like Gary said, yeah, Avengers Forever. I mean, that's it's a fantastic series. It's great how he pulls all these different Avengers in from different points of their timeline. So you have the Captain America, right after his faith in the country was shaken, and then you have Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket when he was off of his rocker, along with then current day Hank Pym and Wasp, and you've got future Avengers and Songbird and Captain Marvel who never actually became Avengers, and a bunch of other ones, and yeah, where they have to team up with him to stop Immortus, and it's a 12-issue fight of Kang, trying to prevent his destiny. Because he just hates this future aspect of himself so much. Then the Kang Dynasty, like Gary said, that's he won. He came in and he won, and the only reason that he didn't stay as having won was because his son Marcus became infatuated with Carol Danvers with Warbird, and it ended up costing Kang, and what Kang does to him because of it is pretty rough. I'll let you read it to find out what it was, but yeah, he succeeded, and you don't often see villains actually succeed and take over the world, the way that he does in this. And there's a line in it too when when they're getting attacked and it looks like they might get beaten, and son Marcus is telling him, well, why don't we just go back to the future and we'll fix all our stuff. We'll restock our army and all that, and we'll just come back to the present a second after we left. And Kang tells him, like, no, that's not fighting with honor. And, that's we're here on the battlefield now, and we're going to win or lose with what we have now, with what we have prepared. Which I thought was really interesting for, him being a time traveler. He can always just come and go as he pleases.
Right.
That book also had a great issue with Wonder Man and the Scarlet Witch in a prison colony.
Yeah.
And they were key catalysts in helping, stop, change things. And that was a just really great character-driven issue with those two.
And it's good because, the Kang stuff, like, he's there for the first few issues and he sets in motion what happens, but it's him saying, I'm going to come down and I'm going to take over. and anybody that wants to be on my side, you could start rising up and going after him now. And the first like half of that storyline is the Avengers all over, split up all over the globe, fighting different uprisings between the Deviants and Atlanteans and all these different characters, stuff in Russia, trying to fight them, all these people. And, that's how Kang started his conquest. He's like, I'm going to wear him down by having all of these other people do it for me, which, I thought was really interesting. And then, yes, just like in Back to the Future.
Are you really basing the saving the world on a movie, Back to the Future?
And then the last one, Timeless. It's the first 2 issues of Timeless. What did I say? Is from 2022 and 2023.
Yeah.
Both of those, excuse me. Both of those are all about Kang and setting up future stuff at the time for Marvel. And especially the one, the bit that I read to you from issue 1, I thought was fantastic and really, really showed his character, where he really thinks of himself as almost a demigod and better than everyone else. And, he needs, he should conquer because he has the right to in his eyes.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. Good stories. Let me, I'll bring up mine next. And there we go. All right. So I actually chose Let the Games Begin, Avengers 69 and 71. It's like shows more of his like how he likes to manipulate the players, the chess pieces on the board. He's doing this so he can spend time with his lady, type situation. But it really shows off his superior intellect, makes him like more of a threat for the whole time and space thing. They've been brought into the, face off against the Grandmaster's heroes. And, if they win, the Grandmaster will, revive Kang's love interest, Ravonna, excuse me.
Ravonna, yeah.
Ravonna, who's currently in a coma. And if they, if the Grandmaster wins, then the Earth's like, going to be doomed forever type situation. But, and the only thing the Avengers want is to be sent back to the original time and space afterwards. It's a good story. I did the Council of Kangs, 267 and 269. I think we've talked a little bit about this, but it was really a ballsy introduction where he just shows up impersonating Iron Man with the bomb. Boom, Avengers are dead. Type situation. But good story all around with the killing off all the other Kangs as well.
And that was one of the Kangs that the Council of Kangs deemed to be incompetent.
Yeah, that's true. And then, of course, I have the Kang Dynasty, which we've already talked about there. Gary's went into a nice in-depth on that one, so I won't add anything to that. And those are my 3 that you got to read. So, Jamie, did we cover all yours?
Everything but my first one.
Well, there you go. Tell us about it.
I was so nervous. I'm like, everyone's got mine. I'm like, they're going to explain it better. I'm sending Sal messages. Make me go last. But no, King to Conquer, only myself left to conquer. I feel like this story sets itself apart from basically everything else. It goes more deep into like his origin, the mentality behind who Kang is, and just to see himself kind of try to like break the cycle of what he's been and what defines him, as we've seen in the past, is actually, to me, one of the better Kang stories. I mean, he ain't conquering it, but he's definitely finding himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the other 2, I had the Kang Dynasty, and I had Avengers Forever.
All right. Very good.
Popular choices.
So good choices all around. All right. So with top covers out of the way, with the central readings out of the way.
Oh, Council of Ricks, that'd be amazing.
That would be fun.
Council of Ricks.
Just drunken Ricks going up against Kang.
It sounds like it sounds like it's Richard. I was thinking it sounded like he was the master of his domain, if you catch my Seinfeld.
Oh,
Yes,
geez,
but
that's a quick one.
this is the same guy that has to beat himself off every so often.
Yeah, there you go. That's what that's what Chris was alluding to.
I guess if you got to be good at something.
But you're right. The Kang book definitely delved a lot into his younger years, and it's interesting. It's his younger self trying to avoid becoming Kang, the way that Kang tries to avoid becoming Immortus.
It's just like a step-by-step structure of how not to become Kang, but becoming Kang.
I think easily Marvel's most convoluted character with all the timelines. I mean, that besides just the different aspects of just Kang himself, the regular character, but the offshoots of Immortus and Ron the Tut and Iron Lad and the Scarlet, whatever his name was, Centurion, was it?
Yeah.
All these different. I mean, man, that is one confusing character, and that's a lot to keep straight.
That is definitely a lot. Okay, so let's move on to best writer and artist, and I will go first on this one. I actually chose for artist Sal Buscema, and for my writer, I chose Roger Stern.
You chose a guy named Sal. What the hell? Yeah.
What, you got a problem with that?
He's North. Yeah.
You got a problem with
Watch
that?
out, he's got a Vinny.
Hey, you're gonna have to have Mike Harbour tell you a Sal Buscema story. I'm not gonna ruin it for him. It's pretty close. He lives here in Northern Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Very good. All right, Dan, who do you have?
For writer, I had to go with Kurt Busiek because he wrote 2 out of the 3 recommended readings I had, Avengers Forever and Kang Dynasty. So, I had to go with him. I thought he really nailed the character. And for artist, I ended up going with Carlos Pacheco, who drew Avengers Forever. So I just went with the Avengers Forever creative team.
Okay, good choice. Uncle Gary, who do you got?
I also went with Kurt Busiek. I mean, he 2/3 of the recommended reading was his, and I went with an artist. I mean, I did like Pacheco a lot, but I went with an artist that did a good part of the Kang Dynasty storyline, and that's Alan Davis. I really enjoyed how he portrayed Kang in that. So Alan Davis is my choice.
Awesome. Jamie?
Yeah, I went with Kurt Busiek too. But for my artist, the one that almost made my list for recommended readings was No Road Home. And he was the artist for that, which is Mike Del Mundo.
Okay.
I really like. He only did 1 issue of the Kang Dynasty, but it's an artist I really like, Patrick Zerker, and I loved how he drew him in that. But I was like, it's just 1 issue, and the issue that he drew of it wasn't even a heavy Kang one either. So I was like, I couldn't pick him because of that. But man, if he had just drawn more of it,
good points. All right, good choices, guys. Good choices. Anybody in the audience today to have any comments that want to talk about their Kang moments, or have a good Kang artist or author they want to shout out? Please do so. But I think this does wrap it up for the evening. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys for joining us. Oh, hold on. Here we go. We do great with Kang as Nolan. It's great with science movies, yeah.
Oh, he could do a complicated Kang movie. That's for sure.
Yeah, that is so true.
One thing oh wait, no, never mind. That was for another character. Never mind.
That's for Darkseid.
Dan's traveling timelines right now.
Characters coming up. I was like, oh yeah, here's this. I'm like, oh wait, no, that's about the character for next week, not this one. That's why I couldn't find my note for it.
Yep. Dan's traveling too many timelines. He's getting convoluted.
And next is it next week's character that was the Pink Floyd song?
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we can go ahead and wrap this up. Once again, I'm your host, Sal the Slab Guy. Down below is Dan the Kelly Art. Always find him on Instagram. Right over there is the Ric Flair of comics.
Woo!
And then, of course, right there is our master builder, J-Dub. Folks, we will see you next week when we talk all about Darkseid. And we'll see you then, I guess, next week. Have a good day. Have a 9.8 day.
See you next one.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Denny.